discuss with y'all. And it was a little different from the ones I typically receive. Okay, so a lot of the DMs, messages I get from women, especially on this type of topic, is about guys who want to move too slow. They don't want to put a ring on it. They just stringing the woman along. They don't want to be married or nothing like that. Well, this particular sister had no problem with that. In fact, it was the exact opposite. Guys are moving too fast. And she was like, what is it? I heard that this is like a narcissistic, manipulative move when guys want to like put a ring on it after a month, or, they talking about they love you and day one, day two. And there's a lot of guys who are coming her way. And it's worth noting that she's conventionally attractive, right? So she gets a lot of attention, but she was like, I'm not trying to fall into no narcissistic trap where a guy is doing all of this just so he can use and abuse me. Let me be very clear, though. This is me talking to y'all. Like, just because a guy wants to move really quickly doesn't mean he's this monster that wants to hurt you and ruin you and do this, that, and the other to you. A lot of times when a guy is on this whole I love you and it's day one, day two, or I want to, whatever. I want you to be my girl. You only known this guy 48 hours and stuff like that. The first reason why a guy's going to do that is because he's emotionally immature. Think back to like 8th, ninth grade. We all thought we was in love. Man, I'm talking about that crush. It felt like you were high on everything. Happily ever after. Here I come. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that was because we were young. We were immature. We didn't know how emotions go up and down. We didn't know there's a difference between chemistry and compatibility, much less chemistry and love. And there are some guys who still don't know that. So let me break down what I mean even whenever I say that. Chemistry is when you have that instant connection with a man. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. It feels like you've known this guy 10, 20 years already, finishing each other's sentences. What he says is funny to you. He seems to laugh at your jokes. He just gets you. Even if y'all get to something serious, like you love the way he encourages you and his thought process, and he seems to appreciate the same thing about you. That's when there's like instant chemistry. It don't take no time to build no type of chemistry. But again, there's a difference between chemistry and love. Chemistry ain't even compatibility. Compatibility is more so like how the actual pieces in reality fit with each other. Like, he may be fresh out of a divorce or still in a relationship. He may be across the world. He may be traveling all the time. Like, some things you just may not be able to fix. You know what I'm saying? Like, he may have a different religion. Now we're talking compatibility, like how you two actually complement each other beyond just the enjoyment of whenever you two are connecting and talking and engaging with each other. Again, that's just chemistry and compatibility. But the reason why a lot of guys confuse chemistry with love is because they actually fall in love with that aspect of you that they had chemistry with. So a guy can fall in love with your personality, your sense of humor, your intelligence, your thought process. But I believe he doesn't love you until he's been introduced to every major aspect of you. So he's falling in love with one aspect of you, a fraction of you, but not the whole you. So think of it like this. If a person tells a portion of the truth, is it the truth? No. It's still a lie, right? So the same thing goes for if a man falls in love with an aspect of you, but he ain't even been introduced to nothing else about you. Does he love you, or does he just love that aspect? He loves that aspect. He loves that particular fraction, that slither, that layer. But he doesn't know how you are when you're grieving. He doesn't know how you are when you're self-conscious, whenever you're fearful, you're doubtful, whenever you're suspicious of him. He doesn't know how you are when you don't feel emotionally safe, because, of course, that's a completely different version of you that he's going to get whenever you're emotionally unsafe, right? He doesn't know how you are when your money's up, your money's down. He doesn't know you. And the thing I want to really notate here is because, like I said, the woman in the beginning is conventionally attractive by society standards. I'm not here to tear nobody down, but those of you who fit into that category, you have no problem getting physical attention, compliments everywhere you go. You're a head turner. You're a conventionally attractive woman. Beauty ain't just in the eye of the beholder. You bad. Like, let's keep it real. You have to be especially vigilant against guys who are emotionally immature because they may fall in love with that aspect of you, basically getting infatuated, getting in lust with you. And the same thing goes for those of you who have a very nurturing spirit. Same thing. If you connect really well with a man's pain, if you can like validate and see a man where he's at and his intentions and how hard he's trying, like you just have no problem with that, you have to be very vigilant against guys who are emotionally immature. They will fall in love with that aspect of you without knowing the full you. And if you get confused, then you'll have a guy who only loves like basically an a la carte context instead of the entire you. All right, so the second reason, and it's kind of split because whatever, love bombing, very real. That's the reason why a guy's gonna move so fast. I love you. You my girl. I want to put a baby in you, and he only know your middle name. Love bombing is essentially whenever a guy pulls out all the stops, does all of these different things, but it's for the purposes of getting you vulnerable so that he can use you and abuse you. Now, let me be very clear. There's two perspectives that a guy may come from whenever he's love bombing. Not automatically he's this horrible narcissistic monster, even though it can still be considered narcissistic. But the first reason is because he's walking around with a void, and it felt like you filled that void when he met you. So when it seemed like your love, your attention, your affection filled that void upon meeting you, he got to experience a flicker, just a flicker, just a moment of what it feels like to truly be loved and somewhat be healed. But the thing is, the love that you're giving him is trying to fit inside of a hole too big for yours to fill because it was created by his parents in childhood that didn't love him correctly, or whoever his caretaker was. Whatever he got traumatized by, that's what he's walking around with. So this is a situation where a lot of guys need therapy, but they're going around looking for relationships. They're going around looking for women. And then when they find a woman, yes, your love can hold it down for a couple of hours, a couple of days, if you're lucky, a couple of weeks. But at some point, it's going to be realized that your love ain't big enough to fill that crater that was created by somebody in his childhood. And then what happens is while he's feeling like he's finally being loved in the way he always needed from his mama and his dad, he's feeling that he's going to respond according to that. This love has been waiting to rush out. He's been waiting to give somebody and do for somebody all the things that he's doing for you, and it's coming for him from a genuine place because he feels the love. So whenever he's buying you things, when he's telling you things, when he wants oh man, I don't see nobody else but you. I just want to be with you. I already know who I want to marry. Like he's in his mind very genuine, but it's a faulty foundation. It's like building a skyscraper on quicksand. It's bound to fall. It's bound to go down. The moment that you have to be just who you were designed to be, a woman, a romantic partner, not his mommy, not his therapist. That's whenever you're going to then get the wounded version of him he was in the beginning. That's whenever he pulls that love back, which essentially creates a love bombing effect. Now you got introduced to this vibe that he can't sustain because he wasn't healthy to begin with. That makes sense to anybody? Put I if that makes sense to anybody. If you've ever experienced that. A guy who came in, did this, that, and the other, you don't see him as a horrible person, but he shut down. The moment that, things wasn't sweet, the moment that you held him accountable, the moment that maybe you went out of town, whatever, he shut down, went cold. The moment you offended him, the moment he got triggered, it was just like the rug just got pulled from up under your feet. And you're trying to make sense of it. Yes, he could absolutely be this horrible manipulative monster and trying to play with you and punish you, that kind of thing. We're going to get into that. But more than likely, he came in wounded. And he thought he had found his tissue paper, his bandage wrap. He thought he had found his Band-Aid, but no, that's all it was. That man need whole surgery, okay? So the other side of that, the love bombing, is when a narcissist or a narcissistic person, because we can't go around diagnosing folks as narcissists, but when a person is narcissistically looking to get emotional authority. Talked about this in the last live chat that we did, right? Emotional authority, basically where he's on this pedestal because of the emotional attachment that you have to him, where he can do no wrong. And so the love bombing opens you up, makes you vulnerable, right? And once he has that emotional authority, the way that he's going to take advantage of that is by now rewriting the way that you see the world, rewriting your ability to discern what's good for you and what's not, because he's always good. He's on his pedestal. He got this emotional authority. And this is like whenever you see, say for instance, you might have a homegirl that got this guy, and it's like, he runs all over her. He spends all her money. He does this, and this. And she just keeps making an excuse for him. It's because he's gotten emotional authority with her. He's up here on an emotional level. He can do no wrong. So his word counts more than yours. It counts more than her own. It counts more than God's. He has the emotional authority in her life. And what happens is when a guy's moving super, super fast, he's typically trying to see who's desperate enough, who has so little boundaries, who has so little understanding on what pace is appropriate for them, where they'll allow me to do all of these things that's going to create an attachment and give me that emotional authority so I can leverage it and get what I want from her. Maybe it's just convenient vagina. Maybe it's your money. Maybe it's just attachment to you. Some of y'all have a grace. Some of y'all have a covering where God just wants to be in your presence because his life is better when he's around you, but he really don't want to be for you. So that emotional authority comes with plenty of benefits and rarely any requirement of reciprocity. And what that leaves you in is shambles. Now you got to heal and all that. And really, a lot of this comes from not coming into the relationship healed to begin with. Because whenever you're healed as a woman, when you're whole as a woman, your intuition is going to warn you. It's going to warn you what's going on. It's going to flicker and say, hold on, wait, this is way too much, too fast. And especially whenever he can't keep it up, your intuition is going to say, okay, if it's so good, then it's got to be permanent. Let's see how he is 4 months from now, 6 months from now. Let's see if he can keep all of this up, all the bells and whistles. And then what's going to happen is whenever your intuition is telling you that, he's going to give you pushback. Oh, you acting like this. Oh, you got trust issues. Your intuition is also going to tell you, see, yep, knew it. He can't keep this up. Now he's trying to guilt and shame me for putting this to the rightful test so I can protect my heart. This ain't just who he is. He's trying to achieve something with doing this. Now, a lot of you already have done the work, you've healed, you're in that space, and you're tired of running into guys who are doing this type of thing, whether they're emotionally immature, trying to fall in love with an aspect of you, or they're love bombing because they're so wounded or because they have this hidden agenda. But you're coming across guys that honestly you just overqualified for. If that's you, if you feel like you've done the work, you're in position, or even if you haven't fully done the work, but you want to know what that work looks like, and you want to position yourself as somebody you ain't got to play these games with, you ain't got to go through this with, there are very simple and effective ways to get that done. Now, I went into depth on how to do that in my masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. Because, you know, these days, a lot of men want you to come after them. No. Evolved men will crave you if you know how to exude the authentic you in a way that's effective and makes you stand out from other women. Just what it is. Now, I've taught this to thousands of women already. Normally, I charge for this stuff, but I've made it absolutely free in my free masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. Look at the link that's pinned right here at the bottom. Click that link. Get access to it now. Register now for the free masterclass if you want an evolved man. That you don't have to sit there and play all of these games and do all of this discerning as far as like, why is he moving fast, etc., etc. Or if things seem to be going a little faster, you know how to qualify it, that love is safe to receive from him and then reciprocate. Again, get access to that masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. But moral of the story is this. When a guy is moving super fast, don't get me wrong, he's not automatically a horrible person. It's not automatically a dangerous thing. But we don't want to go by the exception. We want to go by the rule. And if the exception is there, it's still going to qualify itself against the test that you put it through. Even God said, guard your heart. You can't play with your heart. When you're playing with your heart, you're playing with your sanity. You're playing with your ability to love and trust again. And not just others, but yourself. So if a guy's moving super fast, make sure you're the one that says, hold on, that's not the pace that's correct for me. I got to make sure this is good. And if he's the right man for you, he's going to have no problem with that. Because you don't have to protect yourself from the right man. The right man is going to want to protect you with you. But those are just my thoughts. Again, if you have not gotten access to the masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You, get access now at the link down here in the comments, and it's also in the caption whenever you back out before that masterclass comes down. It's absolutely free. Holla at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.